Hey, what's up everybody? Today we're going to be covering the 20 essential tips for mastering the new Filipino legend, Conduit. Conduit has the perfect mix between aggressive, defensive, and support capabilities, making her a great addition to any team she's on. So let's get right into it. To begin, let's cover Conduit's passive ability called Save Your Speed, that gives you a speed boost when you're at least 50 meters away from your teammates. Just make sure you point your crosshair to one of your teammates and watch for a green indicator to fill up. Once it's full, you'll get that extra speed. So tip number 1, when you're landing off the dropship, consider spreading out and landing far from your teammates, because landing away from your squad gives you the opportunity to use that extra speed boost to loot up faster. Make sure to look over to your teammates to activate the passive and loot away. Tip number 2, as this isn't something you should do often as a support legend, Conduit's passive speed boost gives you the freedom to get an off angle and overextend in a fight, since you can use that swift escape to get back to your teammates. Number 3, since Conduit is a support legend, it's important to remember that her and her teammates can craft banners. In those tough situations where you've lost 1 or 2 teammates and it looks like the fight isn't in your favor, don't hesitate to consider an escape plan and head towards the safest replicator. And especially with the latest revive update, getting revived now equips you with your armor and guns that you previously died with. This makes reviving your teammates all the more valuable. Number 4, since Conduit falls under the support legend category, she does have access to the blue supply bins. Now for those of you who didn't know, these special bins reveal an extra compartment when opened by a support legend. Inside you'll find a variety of health meds as well as survival items, which can save you immensely, especially when you're stuck on the edge of zone or out of zone. Alright, now let's continue with Conduit's tactical ability, known as the Radiant Transfer. This ability allows you to channel a surge of energy to your teammates and yourself, providing a temporary shield boost that replaces broken armor. So tip number 5, as Conduit, you're going to want to save that tactical for the moments when you truly need it. Wasting it when you can just heal up is a missed opportunity. Instead, reserve it for situations where it can make a real difference, like saving your life or your teammates. It's a very powerful ability, so use it wisely to turn the tide in critical moments. Number 6, when you find yourself taking more damage than your enemy does in a fight, especially during those entry shots, that's the perfect moment to utilize Conduit's tactical ability. Since your enemies will most likely push you, this will give you your shield back, which gives you a second chance to win that fight. Number 7, Conduit being a support legend means that your role is all about supporting the team. So make it your top priority to watch over your teammates during fights. Keep a close eye on their health, and when you notice their shields crack, you'll see the little logo on them will turn red, and that's when you immediately use your tactical ability to give them that extra protection to keep them alive and or win the fight. Remember, your team's well-being is your responsibility, and a well-timed shield recharge can make you win a fight. And speaking of supporting your team, tip number 8, in a fight, you always want to position yourself in range of both your teammates, so you're ready to save them with your tactical ability. The beauty is that you don't need direct line of sight to help them out. All you have to do is watch for the symbol that shows up on your teammate. If it's there, they're within range for your Radiant Transfer. So as long as the symbol's there, you're doing your job correctly. Number 9, when you're rezzing a down teammate, make sure to use your tactical immediately after they get up. This will allow your now revived teammate to start healing with a med kit while having that shield protection. This can be a lifesaver if your team gets pushed right after the res. Number 10, after you manage to knock an enemy in a close range fight, you don't necessarily have to find cover and pop a shield battery. Instead, immediately use your tactical to keep the pressure on, a bit like Revenant's ultimate that gives him an extra 75 health after every knock. By doing so, you can maintain the momentum and catch the next enemy off guard. Tip number 11, if your health is critically low, activate your tactical ability and immediately start to pop a medkit, which basically will make you double heal at once. This tip allows you to regain full health twice as fast as you normally would, which can save you a lot of time in a fight. Number 12, what's cool about Conduit's tactical is that you can use it while still shooting your gun, reloading, or healing. So here's a situation where this is game changing in a fight. When taking a 1v1 against a legend with superior health, like an enemy with better armor, a fortified legend like Caustic or Gibraltar, or a Revenant in his ult, here's how you'll want to engage with Conduit. Start the fight by taking cover. Given how likely you might end up with lower health than your enemy, start shooting, and when it's time to reload, take cover. Now at the same time, you'll want to reload and hit your tactical ability. Synchronizing these two will give you that extra boost of health, save you time, which can be a game changer in a scenario like this. And finally, we have Conduit's ultimate ability, known as the Energy Barricade. This ability unleashes a barrier of 7 shield jamming devices that not only deals damage, but also slows down any enemy that runs through it. So tip number 13, when you're behind cover like a box or a ledge and want to deploy your ult without leaving that cover, simply look down at your feet and send out the Energy Barricade. This way, you can send your ult to the other side of that cover without exposing yourself to enemy damage. Number 14, when it's time to deploy your ult, you have 2 choices of how you want to place it. If you look straight in front of you, the Energy Barricade will place itself horizontally, and if you look straight down, it will spread out more vertically. So keep that in mind, because depending on your terrain, it can offer you better opportunities in fights. Number 15, when you deploy Conduit's ult, use it strategically to control a part of your terrain during a fight. Her Energy Barricade isn't just about damage, it's a powerful tool for manipulating the fight. You can use it to trap enemies in a corner, block their escapes, or force them to take damage if they try to take shelter. Tip number 16, when you find yourself being chased by enemies, you can deploy your ult in front of you and run through it. This will buy you time and distance since your enemy enemies will have to decide whether to shoot your ult to pass through it or go around it. Number 17, Conduit's ult deploys 7 pylons, each with 250 health, and when you crouch behind it, it effectively covers her entire hitbox, making it impossible for enemies to hit a shot on you. This means that in open field fights, you can use these barricades as temporary cover. With 7 of them, that's a total of 1,750 damage that the enemies have to do in order to break them all. If the enemies manage to break one, you can slide to another cover and continue the fight. Number 18, you can use your ultimate ability to force enemy teams off high ground, giving you the opportunity to take it from them. You can even combine it with movement abilities like Horizon's Lift, Pathfinder's Zipline, to seize that high ground even faster after deploying your ult. If the enemy refuses to retreat, they'll take damage and get slowed by your ultimate, making it easier for you to win the fight. Number 19, when you find yourself in a mid to long range fight and you would like to get closer to your enemies to finish them off, here's what you do. Deploy your ult directly at the enemy team to cut the line of sight they have on you. By doing so, you force them to reposition and look for a different angle. During this window of opportunity, take advantage to close the gap and fight them at a close range. And tip number 20, after a long match, you finally arrive to the end game and your goal is to secure the victory. Here's how you can do it effectively with Conduit. Her ultimate ability lasts for a total of 60 seconds, so to maximize its impact, you should time it right. Wait until the countdown for the final ring has 1 minute remaining before activating your ult. This forces the enemy team to take damage from the ultimate or waste their time shooting the pylons. This gives you a significant advantage in the final moments of the game, increasing your chance of getting that dub. Now, the most important tip is to smash that like button, subscribe, follow me on Twitter, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Mahalo.